Next, we will look at some word problems and some new vocabulary. So similar to what we did in the last video, except for now we'll have a context. Sam texted 4 more text messages than Dana yesterday. Write an equation to represent the number of text messages Dana sent. Define your variables. So there's 2 things we don't know in this situation. We don't know how many messages that Sam sent. So we'll let that be one variable. Maybe we'll use an S for Sam. And we also don't know the number of messages that Dana sent. And maybe we could use a D for that. So now we'll go back and reread the question. Sam texted 4 more text messages than Dana yesterday. So Sam texted 4 more than the number of text messages that Dana sent. So that would be my expression, or my equation rather. If Sam sent 105 text messages yesterday, is it reasonable to say that Dana sent 109? So what we'll do is we'll plug in the 105 for Sam and the 109 for Dana, and we'll check this solution here, and we get a false statement. So is it reasonable? We'll say no. Next up, we have a few new vocabulary words. The first one is equivalent equations. Equivalent equations are equations that have the same solution. So for example, x plus 3 equals 5 and x equals 2, they both have the same solution, namely x equals 2. Another equation I could add to this list if I wanted, I could have 2x equals 4. That also has a solution of x equals 2, so it's another equivalent equation. Next, we'll look at a few properties that will allow us to solve equations. The first is the addition property of equality. The addition property of equality says that we can add the same number to both sides of an equation and it will be equivalent. The subtraction property of equality says that if we start with a true equation and we subtract the same number from both sides, it will still be a true equation, or in other words, we'll end up with an equivalent equation. We can also multiply both sides of an equation by the same number and get a true equation, or get a new equivalent equation. And we can divide both sides by a number as long as it's not 0, and the new equation will be equivalent. A few more words. Inverse operations are operations that undo each other. So for example, adding and subtracting. If you add 3 and then subtract 3, they cancel each other out. They undo each other. They are inverses. Adding and subtracting are inverses. Multiplying and dividing are inverses. Squaring and taking a square root are inverses. The solution of an equation is any number that makes a statement true if you plug it back into the original equation. So earlier when we had the example x plus 3 equals 5, 2 is a solution because if you plug in a 2, and you change it from x plus 3 equals 5 and you do 2 plus 3 equals 5, you get a true statement, which makes 2 a solution to that equation. A constant, remember from earlier this year, is a term without a variable. So 5 is a constant, 7 is a constant, but 5x is not a constant because it does have a variable. A coefficient, remember, is the number in front of a variable. So the number I gave you a moment ago, 5x, the 5 is the coefficient.